Hey folks, Election Day is tomorrow. And have you made a plan to vote? Are you going to vote tomorrow? Did you vote early? What did you do to prepare for this vote? Because this is going to be very important. Everything we do from here on out within this next year, when it comes to our elections, is going to set the trajectory of our nation. And my gosh, the rest of the world. Have you seen what is happening across the globe? Yeah, you probably have. If you haven't, I don't know where you've been. But we have to be very, very concerned right now at the direction of our nation and at the direction our foreign policy has taken overseas, literally on the verge of possibly World War III. We have seen what has happened in the Middle East and how everything that President Trump had set into motion, it appears to be dissolving in our country. We see inflation. We see what is happening with not only with our inflation, but with our border and the border crisis and the wide open border and the threats being made by Hamas against us. And God only knows who is in our country. We have voting in Kentucky, Mississippi, New Jersey, Virginia. I mean, let's get out and vote. Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio. We need people to get out and vote. And I have somebody very special on the show, somebody who is dedicating their life to this country in such a way that it's actually tangible. This man is not just talking about it. He's actually making it happen. And he is young, and he is inspiring, and he is ambitious and not afraid to speak the truth. And that is Scott Presler. And if you're not following him, you need to start following him. He is brilliant. He is crisscrossing the country, registering voters, beating Democrats at their own early voting game. He founded an organization to get conservative voters registered and get their votes counted. And he is an avid believer not to wait until the very day of election. And some of you may say, well, I don't trust anything else. I want to go in the day of the election and that's it. But this is not how it's played anymore. We have to do better than the Democrats. We cannot underestimate them, not one iota, or we will lose. And we saw how we can win with Jeff Landry in Louisiana. We saw that. How he took and flipped the state red. He's the governor of Louisiana now, and most people thought that would be impossible. And by the way, poll numbers are showing Latinos or Hispanics, Blacks, and other minorities are moving more to the red. In fact, in September, the Washington Post had a story out that said that basically they were supporting President Trump in higher numbers than ever before. But this isn't just about President Trump and next year's election. This is about voting for county commissioners. This is about putting people in place in our local state Senate, right, in our local legislatures. This is about voting for judges that are going to make the right decisions for us in the courtroom, that are going to go and follow, be blind. Justice is blind. Those are the people that we want in there. We don't want weaponized prosecutors, weaponized courts, or for that matter, a weaponized system, because we're going to lose our nation. Lots of people talk, but Scott Presler, he actually does it. But first, Allegiance Gold. Folks, imagine a future where your retirement is protected from the storms of market volatility like we're seeing right now, the erosive forces of inflation, recession, government meddling, and economic uncertainties. Imagine retiring with peace of mind and the freedom to pursue your own dreams. Well, that future, my dear friends, can become your reality courtesy of Allegiance Gold. And right now, my listeners can get $5,000 of free silver on a qualifying purchase when you visit protectwithsara.com. That is protectwithsara.com today. With over 50 years of combined experience, millions of dollars in completed transactions, resulting in thousands of satisfied clients. Help us earn the most trusted gold IRA firm in the nation. Get up to $5,000 in free silver on a qualifying purchase when you visit protectwithsara.com today, or give them a call at 877-702-SARA. Don't wait. Take control of your retirement today. Call 877-702-SARA, SARA, and speak with one of their experts. They'll answer all your questions and help you get started on a path to a more secure and prosperous retirement. Time is of the essence. Protect your future with Allegiance Gold. Visit protectwithsara.com. That's protectwithsara.com. I've got domestic extremist that I love so much, Scott Presler, here on the Sara Carter Show with me today. He's the founder and executive director of Early Vote Action. That's what I want to talk to you about, because this is a huge issue. And I think this is where the Republicans failed miserably in the last election. And I think, it wasn't purposefully, but it was something that I think conservatives were not paying attention to. And it was Stacey Abrams. She paid attention to it early on. She was like mail-in voting. They were taking stuff to the courts. They were making sure people got early votes in, even if we disagree with how some of this, and I know a lot of us do, played out, especially in the last election. They were on the ball with getting the vote out early. And this is something that you are focused on. In fact, you're hyper focused on it because that is the name of your organization, the early vote. And I mean, this is important. Explain where things took a turn for you and why you felt this is where you needed to put your attention.
Well, 2020, Sara, was soul crushing. That's the best way that I could describe it. And I made a commitment that I would spend the next 2 years of my life helping to take Congress, and we could stop Joe Biden from passing reckless and dangerous legislation. And, everyone told me, Scott, it's going to be a red wave. The economy is terrible. The border is porous. You have Putin invading Ukraine, which we didn't have under President Trump, that now has been inspired by Joe Biden. There were so many things that were going wrong. Everybody thought that voters would go to the right. And look, we only won a narrow majority in the House of Representatives, and we elected John Fetterman to the United States Senate. And that honestly was the impetus and the creation behind my organization, Early Vote Action. I know the listeners listening to this right now, you're not going to be happy with me, but let me briefly tell you what happened in 2022 on Election Day. In Maricopa County, Arizona, machines had errors on Election Day. In Nevada, when Adam Laxalt was running for Senate and he lost only by 8,000 votes, by the way, it snowed in Reno and Washoe County, a Republican county, on Election Day. And for all of you who rightfully tell me, Scott, one day, one vote, one paper ballot, in Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, they ran out of paper ballots. And Harris County, Texas, ran out of paper ballots on Election Day. My argument is, guys, I'm here to win. I'm here to make Joe Biden a one-term president. And I understand that Democrats vote for weeks and sometimes months, and Republicans vote for 12 hours. And if I'm a Democratic operative and I want to throw a wrench into the system, or if I want to create shenanigans, I only have to cause problems within 12 hours to affect the major outcome of a presidential election. And I don't want that to happen. I want to win not only tomorrow, Tuesday, November 7th, but also in 2024.
That is such a brilliant argument. It's so to the point. You hit all the most important parts of that argument. And without even saying it, you proved something that I have been saying for a long time, and I've never put it as succinctly as you did right now. And that is the fact that we overestimate what we can do sometimes, and we underestimate what our adversaries, I'd like to say, are doing. We think like, oh, there's just no way. Just like you said, it's a porous border. We've got inflation. We have issues with wars overseas. And, there's just no way he's going to get in. And I'm like, Wake up, America. Listen to Scott Presler because he knows exactly what he is talking about. We have underestimated our way into a lose. And that is a terrible place to be when we see the direction our nation is taking. And we're up against a lot. Let me ask you this. This is to me a really amazing poll that just came out. And it's in the New York Times, by the way. Shane Goldmacher, it's in his story. It says Trump leads in 5 critical states as voters blast Biden, Times Siena poll finds. I think this is just incredible. Right now in Nevada, you have Biden at 41% and Trump at 52%. These are in swing states. And anything can change between now and election, right? Between now and the next November. But this is what we're seeing. So Nevada, where we had issues, Biden is now at 41%. Trump is polling at 52%. Michigan, 43%. Trump at 48%. Georgia, Biden at 43%. Trump at 49%. Pennsylvania, Biden at 44. Trump at 48. Arizona, important state too. Biden at 44. Trump at 49. And Wisconsin, you have Biden edging by 2 points, but you can give or take on that with Trump at 45 and Biden at 47. That's the only one where Biden looks to have a little bit of an edge, but it may just be a fluke. What do you think is happening there?
Well, even so, I mean, those are all great things. And, the number one thing is, guys, the only poll that matters is the one on election day. We can be ahead, but this is about getting ballots into boxes. And, a couple things that I really want to hone in on. Number one, for anyone that's listening to this and they're going, Scott, the election's rigged. It's the machines. We can't possibly win. Think about 2020 for a second. All of the shenanigans, all of the things that were done without the consent of the legislatures, the universal mail-in voting, all of that happened, and Joe Biden only won the election. I use that word loosely, he won by 80,000 votes.
I know.
In the most important states that mattered. So think about it, 20,000 in Arizona, 20,000 in Wisconsin, 10,000 in Georgia. Is that doable? Could we get those people to either have flipped or to vote early or vote by mail? And think of this, 40% of Wisconsin hunters are not registered to vote. 40. Imagine if we got them registered and got a ballot in their hands. And think about Pennsylvania for a second. Pennsylvania, we lost, quote unquote, in 2020 by 80,000. There are 80,000 Amish, Sarah. There are 80,000 truckers, and there are 930,000 hunters. If I know that 40% of Wisconsin hunters are not registered to vote, do you think logically there could be a similar percentage for Ohio, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania? Yes, I would argue that. So basically what I'm saying to you, the viewer listening, is we can win, but it's going to focus on a robust voter registration operation, getting our voters knowing if they're going to be a trucker hauling rigs on election day, we get them to either vote early in person or get a mail-in ballot in their hands, and just making sure that we have a diverse approach to voting. And then we can win not only this year in 2023, but next year in 2024. I want people to know that we have already been successful this year with early vote action. Nobody's talking about Louisiana. We flipped the Louisiana governorship on Saturday, October 14th. And for context, because context is so important, they have a jungle primary, meaning that you have to win 50% of the vote plus one to avoid a runoff, right? That never happens in Louisiana gubernatorial elections. We had 15 candidates running. Several of them were Republican. This is on a Saturday in October, and this is LSU playing football versus Auburn at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge on election day.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, Jeff Landry, it was like, holy cow. I mean, it was huge news. It wasn't just little news. It was huge. It flipped.
Monumental. Nobody predicted that he would win outright a majority. But here's the proof of concept. In 2019, the Democrats won early voting 44% to 41%. This year in 2023, Republicans won early voting 44% to 41%. We did the inverse, and in part, it was because of our early voting, because of pushing that pushed Jeff Landry across the finish line. Now, when it comes to early voting, when you vote early, think about all the different things money is spent on to push out a voter: a text message, a mailer, people to knock on doors. All of those things cost money. When you vote early, that is almost an in-kind donation to the candidate that you're supporting, because they can cross you off the list and go, you know what? I don't got to worry about Sara Carter. She already voted. I'm going to focus on these people that haven't voted. So Sara will no longer have to have money spent on a mailer and a knock on her door and a phone call and a text message. All of that money can be spent effectively and efficiently on those people that have yet to vote.
Human super beats. I feel so good. I just took 2 this morning. Don't have a crash. I've been feeling great all day, making it through my podcast and my busy schedule, which you all know I have. In fact, I'm going to be leaving tomorrow to New York. I'm traveling all the time there. And what do? I carry my super beats with me. I keep them in my purse and I keep them in my luggage. I do not want to be without. And why? Because if it's paired with a healthy lifestyle, folks, the antioxidants in super beats are clinically shown to be nearly 2 times more effective at promoting normal blood pressure than a healthy lifestyle alone. And that's very, very important. And with my busy schedule, like I said, Super Beet Chews are quick and a convenient way to do something that is good for my heart. Double your potential with Super Beets Heart Chews. Get a free 30-day supply of Super Beets Heart Chews and 15% off your first order by going to getsuperbeets.com and use promo code Sara, S-A-R-A. That's getsuperbeets.com, promo code Sara, S-A-R-A. Do you think Republicans are scared of voting in early? Like, you hear a lot of Republicans, and I know I'm not going to ask you to beat that into their heads, but for all of you out there who are afraid to vote early, what would alleviate their fears?
Well, I'll tell you, for example, I'm a Virginia voter, and I'm currently here in Pennsylvania. Clearly, I'm not going to be home tomorrow. So you know what I did? I voted early in person weeks ago in Virginia, and I went to my early voting location, which was the Fairfax Municipal Center. I voted on a paper ballot, and I voted for all of my candidates. There were like 20 people running. Now, you know what I did the next day when I went home? I went online to check my voter status, and it even showed that my ballot was given to me early on the date that I voted, and that my ballot was received on the date that I voted. So there was an entire process that I could literally check and make sure my ballot that I voted early in person by paper was received. And this way I can spend all of my time here in Pennsylvania. I don't have to worry, and I can use my time effectively helping another state.
I think that's absolutely incredible, and that you can go back and see that your ballot counted, that it's already been taken care of. I had a friend in Virginia, and I'm trying to remember, excuse me if I'm wrong, Jonna, but she was telling me that someone had come to her door and had said that they knew she had a ballot mailed to her, and if they wanted her to give it to them so that they could take it. And she was worried about giving them her ballot. Do you know if that's happening, or should you just take it down yourself and deposit it? I mean, because she was worried maybe this person's going to take my ballot and try to change it or something.
Sure. I'm not sure I would give my ballot necessarily, or at least I wouldn't. However, that that process is called ballot chasing. That is legal in the terms of, if I know that Sarah Carter has requested a mail-in ballot, then I would knock on your door and say, Sarah, you requested a mail-in ballot. Have you received it? Have you filled it out? Do you need any help? Can I walk you to your mailbox so you can put your mail-in ballot into the mailbox so it can be delivered? Little things like that. Now,
see, Jonna, I know you're listening to my podcast. It was not as nefarious as you think. Like, you just got to get your ballot into the mailbox there. Okay. Now you go ahead, Scott. I just wanted to throw that out there now that I have you on.
But it varies by state. In Nevada, ballot harvesting is legal. We can have Republican ballot boxes at gun shops and gun shows, in churches and rodeos. So really it varies by state. But I mean, we would be fools if we did not do ballot chasing, especially knowing that these people didn't have a universal mail-in ballot. They requested it. And that's the difference. Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, every eligible voter receives a ballot whether or not they want one. Pennsylvania, Virginia, you must request a ballot in order to get a ballot. So those people that request them are much more likely to actually follow through in returning their ballot.
What about people that are saying, like, and let's go back to really quickly about ballot harvesting, or that people have been, actually charged with, fraud, election fraud, and issues like that. Do you think, the way to maybe calm people's nerves is by saying, look, if we all go out and vote, if you sit back and do nothing, then surely the other side's going to win, because that's what's going to happen. But if we all get together and everybody votes their conscience and gets out there, puts in their ballot and demands, like what happened with Jeff Landry, right? I mean, you got so many people to go out there and vote that there's no way, even if someone tried to cheat, it's just not, it's going to be overwhelming numbers are going to make it impossible for that to happen.
Well, I'm a data guy. I'm a numbers guy. So let's talk about Nevada for a second. Remember how I told you in 2022, we had the United States race, Adam Laxalt, he lost by 8,000 votes. Now, get this. I know, based on voter registration data by party, that 150,000 registered Nevada Republicans did not vote in that election. Lost by 8,000, 150,000 didn't vote. And that's despite everybody receiving a mail-in ballot, right? Imagine had we as a party done ballot harvesting, knocked on those doors to do the ballot chasing. Adam Laxalt would be United States Senator right now, and Joe Biden wouldn't have control of the United States Senate, and they wouldn't be able to pass all these terrible Democratic judicial nominations. Had we just engaged in every lawful practice that is available in Nevada. And think of Oregon for a second. Oregon, everybody probably thinks is gone. It's on the left coast. We can't possibly win. In 2022, Christine Drazan, a Republican, was running for governor in that state. She ended up losing by 60,000 votes. 60,000. Now, here's the kicker. I know because of voter registration data by party that 126,000 registered Republican Oregonians did not return their mail-in ballot, despite being an only mail-in ballot state and despite every eligible voter receiving a mail-in ballot. These elections could have been winnable, and we could have a Republican governor in Oregon right now had we actually just gotten Republicans out to vote. So part of the problem is we need to...
What is up with the RNC on this? I'm sorry. I'm not going to put you in a weird position.
My mama told me, Sarah, if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say it. So I'm just going to say bless their hearts. That's all I'm going to say.
Your mama is a wise woman. Your mama is a wise woman. Okay, so this is where the rubber meets the road, right? We need to get everybody motivated. I know tomorrow's a big day, right? It's Tuesday. You're out in Pennsylvania. Everybody, please, please, please get out and vote. Do it if you haven't done it already, because hopefully you have. Hopefully people are doing the right thing. But give some advice for tomorrow, some advice for the future. And my friend, close us out with how we can help you and what we can do to either volunteer, fund, and move this forward.
Okay, 2 minutes. Let's do it. So the elections tomorrow on Tuesday, November 7th are in Kentucky. Daniel Cameron for governor. Daniel Cameron for governor, because if Mitch McConnell, his health is awful, it will be a Democrat governor that appoints his replacement. We need that Republican Daniel Cameron for governor in Kentucky. Mississippi, Tate Reeves is running for re-election as governor in Mississippi. We must hold that governorship. New Jersey, they have a trifecta state government. Democratic Governor Murphy can pass whatever he wants. If you're tired of the high crime, if you're tired of the high taxes, then vote Republican down ballot for all of the state legislative, and let's force Governor Murphy to have to negotiate with Republican lawmakers. Virginia, Governor Glenn Youngkin has the House of Delegates. If we give him 2 state Senate seats, Governor Glenn Youngkin, a Republican, will control entirely the state legislature in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And you hear me, that sets us up next year to have Virginia, a state that since 2008 has voted democratically presidentially in elections. It could have the opportunity to elect a Republican president from the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Wow.
Ohio has elections. New York has elections. Pennsylvania. This is so critical, guys. You at home, I'm certain that you care about election integrity. I'm certain that you care about the Supreme Court, especially what happened in Wisconsin, losing that in April, that the court flipped from conservative to liberal. We must vote for Judge Carolyn Carluccio for the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. The court rules on mail-in ballots, election integrity, pandemics, the authority of the governor, and whether or not that person can be dictatorial. And please, every county commissioner seat in Pennsylvania is up for election. What do the county commissioners do? They control the elections. So y'all, if you want to stop the Joe Biden, if you want to defeat him next year in 2024, you get off your behinds, you get out tomorrow, Tuesday, November 7th, in Kentucky, Mississippi, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia. And if you, from the comfort of your home, if you're even living in Connecticut or California or Michigan, use my mobile application, Early Vote Action. It's on iPhone, it's on Android. You can send peer-to-peer text messages right now at this very second to voters in Allegheny County, to Pennsylvania Republicans, to Kentucky Republicans. You can call these people. If you live in those states, you can knock on doors. I give you access to every registered Republican within a mile radius of your home. Download my application, Early Vote Action, and as soon as you're done watching Sara Carter and your other favorites, you get on and you start texting all these Republicans and you get them out to vote, please.
This is awesome. Gosh, Scott, Early Vote Action. You got your own app. I can go on there and be like, hey, I'm Sara Carter. Get up.
Hey, this is the real Sara Carter. Please vote tomorrow.
Yeah, please.
Honestly, you could text them.
I actually may do that. I actually may text them. I'll get some weird phone calls back, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We'll have to open up those doors. Scott, you're a blessing. You're such a blessing to this country. And, I'm so grateful to have you on the show. And I think I'm going to bring you back on. You're so much fun. I have so much. I forgot how much fun I have talking to you. Thank you again to Scott Presler for coming on today's show. I look forward to having you back. You're a great fighter for the American people and always welcome on our show. Your hard work does not go unnoticed, my friend. Can't wait to get you back. Please make sure you're subscribed to the Sara Carter Show here on your favorite podcast app. It really, really helps. Follow me on Truth at Sara Carter Official, on X at Sara Carter DC, and on Instagram at SCarterDC. God bless you. God bless our great nation. Keep your prayers, and God bless the great nation of Israel, and God bless the great state of Texas.